What is crack-a-lackin' everyone, this is Renilzy coming back at you with another Honkai Star Rail video, and today we are going to be ranking every Penacony character that is playable. But before we get into that, please do not forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe so we can continue to grow the channel. Maybe so your boy can even get to Heya partner down. And if I forgot anyone, do not forget to leave a comment and tell me who it is I forgot, because I'm not gonna lie, at least until Amphoreus, I don't remember every little thing that happened. These stories are very long. And if you did enjoy today's video, please do leave a like, maybe even sub. And then without further ado, I will get right into it. So, Trailblazer, that's just not even right. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? The Trailblazer had a huge role. They were actually pretty well written in Penacony. I enjoyed them quite a bit. This is where I started actually enjoying the Trailblazer. Like, with these gacha main characters, the way I am, right? It's like, okay, I'm kind of just whatever. They're a vessel for us to experience the story most of the time, right? Whether or not they have their own quirks is irrelevant, because the fact that they're here to be us for a different way of putting it. They're kind of meant to represent us in a way. Whether or not that's actually true, they end up being a vessel for us, at least in some ways, because we're playing, generally speaking, as the main character. We're making a lot of the decisions, we're saying a lot of things as them, so technically speaking, you could say they're self-insert. I don't agree with that as much now that Penacony is what we're talking about, because they do have, I mean, they've always had their own personality, I guess, but it's more prominent in Penacony. And they had a huge role. Stakes were higher. They actually saved a lot of really good, they did really a lot of good stuff. And then, you know what? I did forget someone. Where is she? I know that maybe I could qualify her as, I forgot two people. I forgot three people. We're gonna consider these Penacony, because the servants Penacony, because of the fact that we met them there. Same thing with Dahlia. Right here. So when I'm talking about Penacony, generally I was talking about like the planet, the arc. I know technically we're in Amphoreus, but the story took place in Penacony for these three, so I'll consider pretty much I'm trying to consider everything to do with that planet during these lists. So let me just double check I didn't forget anyone else. I almost forgot these three. That would have been kind of annoying. I guess I could have covered them in the next video, but it took place in Penacony, so doesn't matter. Really quickly. No, we pretty much got everybody. Okay. So, I mean, I guess we could talk about Blade, since he was in Penacony as part of a cutscene, but he didn't really do anything because he wasn't really there. So I'll just put him in B for Blade, I guess, if we had to actually rank him during that, because he didn't really do anything. He was just there. But yeah, that's everyone I can think about, at least, that was there that actually didn't really do anything. I guess I know we're talking about it. Tell me if I'm crazy, but I feel like Sampo actually was... I don't remember if Sampo was... I don't think he was there, was he? It was just Sparkle as Sampo. I think that's what it was. So maybe we don't even consider Sampo in here. So yeah, I'm just gonna consider the Sampo stuff as Sparkle, because I mean, obviously she did actually disguise herself as him. So I'll just consider everything Sampo related as Sparkle related, because I'm pretty sure that this Sampo wasn't actually here. If I got that wrong, oops. Anyway. Crap, was March there? Oh no. I remember Don Hong. Okay, Don Hong and March were kind of there. And they were here. They were there at the end, so they'll just go on the normal name list here where there be, because, you know. Another thing is that with these lists is I tend to consider, sometimes it's arc by arc, But for the Trailblazers, for whatever reason, I tend to consider them just as a whole. So, I mean, these two will just stay in B, worst case. I can't remember if they had any massive contributions, though, so for now, they'll just be there. C's kind of reserved for, like, the, oh, this isn't kind of whatever as a character. Anyway, back to Welt. I liked Welt a lot. This is where Penacony is really where Welt just kind of started shining for me. Like, he was always kind of a cool guy, right? But he didn't really do much, in my opinion. He was there. He was a source of information. He's a smart guy. He's Unk, whatever you want to say. He really started coming out and doing his best in Penacony. And he did a lot. I'm not gonna lie, he did quite a bit. Another thing is he helped us put a lot of stuff in his perspective as, you know, the player. Welt was putting some of the pieces together, and maybe if you missed it, he put it into perspective for you, and you're like, oh, so I gotta talk him up a little bit for that. But yeah, I really enjoyed Welt. This made me actually be like, wow, this guy's really cool. Okay, and then so now I'm kind of like, oh. If they release an alt for this guy, I think I'm gonna have to tap in. Definitely like him quite a bit though. As for Sparkle, yeah. She's one of my favorites. Now that we're getting into her stuff with Planarcadia too, that's just strengthening my Sparkle love even more. Her story doesn't really exist in Penacony per se, but she was a very big... She had a lot of influence. There was a lot that she did. Her having out the Stellaron Hunters was really cool too. And that really... I just love Sparkle. I don't know. I like her personality. She's very, very funny, very cute. She's very... What else? I like how she doesn't take everything too serious. Like, you know what? Sometimes you need that character that doesn't take everything super seriously. Kind of nice. Obviously with Penacony and all, maybe she's a little more serious, but you know, I eventually did want Sparkle to be more developed than she was. And you know, considering that she even got above A, considering that she... Why did I say that twice? Since she got above A, with as little as we know about her, I think that, you know, that does matter. I'll give Ratio an A, actually. He did quite a bit. I'm kind of whatever on him as a character personally. Like he's kind of whatever, but he was there for quite a while, and he did have some actual contributions. He also helped out Aventurine, my goat. We'll talk about Aventurine in a little bit. So you know that does matter. He helped out my goat. Okay, you know what? That does matter. I'm gonna drag Fuga until a little later, since she was later on. Ooh, Black Swan. It's gonna be tough, dude. I don't want to overflow the S rank though. Oh man, I don't want to overflow the S rank though, but it's kind of... I like some of these characters are just... I like them so much. Penacony was just a really good story. I don't know. Fluff or whatever the heck you gonna say, it has its problems. Yeah, every story in Hoyo has its problems. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Every single story that I've ever played or read in Hoyo history has had some problem, small or big. But for a Hoyo story, I mean, I'll put her S rank for now. I really liked Black Swan a lot. I like how mysterious she is. I like how she helped us out. She got developed a little bit, but there's still enough mysteriousness about her. I think that's another thing with Sparkle. These two are very mysterious in Penacony. We don't really know too much about them, but they did a lot. They helped us out a lot. And I don't know, I really like Black Swan. Acheron, I mean... She's an emanator. A lot of the emanators, I guess you're going to see me like them a lot because they tend to get a lot of focus. They just do. Also, if we're going to talk about feats, I mean, her being able to cut that freaking hole in the sky, or, you know, that slash, that was really cool. There was the lasting impacts that it did too. It just goes to... I think another thing is, I'm not a really big power scaler, but the emanators should be power scaled pretty high just based off of what they are, you know? If you guys don't remember, emanators are pretty much they got some of the powers of an Aeon. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Aeons are pretty strong. You know, they're pretty, a lot of them are pretty strong. So the fact that we got to see a little bit of that with Acheron was really cool. And then her whole way of remembering is also very interesting. If you guys remember how that works, then, you know, I don't want to really explain it, but she is a very interesting character. Again, some of the mysteriousness does help her out, and then there is the whole nihility thing going on with her as well. Like those flashbacks to that one planet that I can't remember the name of right now. Thank you, brain. She was helping out that old guy move on into... We'll just move on in general since he was, you know, not alive anymore. So that was a cool cutscene. I thought that was really interesting. And, you know, that helps her out a little bit. Oh. Oh, boy. My goat. Yep. He might just straight up beat the top, period. I don't even... It's gonna be tough to rate him, you know. It's gonna be tough for me to rate him any lower than, like, top 2. He's either the top or second. It's not really that close. He showed me that Heya had it in them to actually write male characters really well. He was the first example of Star Rail, at least. Like, Heya has always been able to write males well. It's just whether or not they decide to give them enough focus. They did that with Aventurine really well. He's my favorite dude in this game. It's either him or Finon. Or My Day. One of those 3. Welt has an argument, but he's not he's not there. Aventurine, though, it's just, oh my goodness, this dude was so well written. I really liked him a lot. His whole... You know what? I kind of messed with the diva. He was kind of a diva. You know what? Hey, he was kind of a diva, okay? It was nice to see him have a different personality from a lot of the other guys that we've seen in the past. And you can see that he really did actually bet his life on it, and it turned out, I mean, you know, shocker, or spoiler rather, if you guys haven't played the Penacony yet, it turned out well. But I presume if you're watching this, you probably have played Penacony by now. It's, what, over a year old at this point, so... I really enjoyed Aventurine a lot, though. I hope they keep bringing him into more of the stories in the future, because I am so down to see this guy come back pretty much at any point now. They really did... One of my favorites now. I mean, Topaz didn't do too terribly much, but she was there. I guess I'll just put the Penacony, probably like this. Probably like that, yeah. The IPC was very present during Penacony, but Aventurine was, like, you know, the most present person for that. I like Jade a lot. She's still, I mean, honestly, at least me, I don't really know much about Jade. I don't think we were told that much either, but I like her a good bit. It's just that we don't really know anything about her. It's kind of hard to rate her higher than where she is right now because of the fact we do really, at least me, maybe I'm the one who has the problem here. I don't know that much about her, but I like her anyway. I guess we'll talk about Misha under the clock. Watchmaker, that's what it is. We'll talk about Misha as the Watchmaker. Probably up here. I like the Watchmaker story. I think it was pretty good. It was interesting to see how they would have embedded the Nameless into Penacony because, you know, obviously they were here before. So it was interesting to see how they embedded them into the story. And then there was the whole part where he kind of passed the torch to us as the Trailblazers, and that was a cool moment. I thought it was good. I mean, Gallagher, I mean, he really didn't do that much. He was a cool guy though. Hey, we're ranking him for being the GOAT. He's in gameplay. Maybe he's not the best guy, but he's the free option and he works pretty well. So gameplay wise, yeah, but story, like B. He wasn't with us for too terribly long either. It's another thing. Cool character though. I was kind of hoping he would have went with us on the Astral Express, and then he just kind of didn't. So that kind of sucks, but, you know. It was cool. I don't want to talk about the siblings right now. B for Boot Hill, bro. I'm not putting him in the seats here. He doesn't deserve that. Boot Hill, I'm starting to slowly wrap back around to liking him, but like for the longest time, dude, I hate the way this guy talks, bro. If you're gonna have someone curse, just have them say the F word or whatever they're gonna say. Yeah, maybe Hoyo games are supposed to be quote-unquote family-friendly. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. If you're gonna have someone be a rootin' tootin' space cowboy and you want them to say a cuss word, you just have them say the word or you blur it. I guess I'll just talk about Deadpool and Marvel Rivals real quick, just as a little side tangent. Like, when he says the F word, he goes, fuck, and then they bleep it. They bleep it. So they should either have done that with Boot Hill, or they shouldn't have had him say the words at all. Or he could have just said frickin'. He could have just been a frick. He could have just spammed the word frick, and that would have worked. You know what? I would have been okay with that. Because I understand Hoyo doesn't really like to be very grim with a lot of their stuff nowadays. Obviously, that's, if we're going to Amphoreus, yeah, some of the stuff can get fairly grim. But if he had just spammed the word frick instead of fork, alright, now I'm a little bit more of a fan of this guy. I like the Galaxy Rangers, though. I think they're cool. He's probably my favorite Galaxy Ranger besides Acheron. I mean, this thing. Is Acheron actually a Galaxy Ranger, or is it just like she's under that persona? Y'all who, like Acheron more than me, y'all remind me. I don't remember. Is she actually a Galaxy Ranger, or is it just the title that she bestowed upon herself to not have as much trouble getting into Penacony? I don't remember. Y'all let me know. Boot Hill's pretty, like I said, I'm rolling back around on him though. If that's that's the one thing I'm just like, I really don't like that about him. But we still might pull for him because, you know what's something interesting? He doesn't say any of that curse words, any of that stuff in battle. So guess what? And all of a sudden, he's way more enticing to me to pull. Cool guy though. I like his design, if nothing else. Personality-wise, yeah. I mean, again, if we take out the whole weird censoring stuff with him cursing, then I'm leaning more towards the like than dislike. And he had a good amount of weight in the story. He helped us, or he helped in general. Maybe not us specifically, but he did stuff. And you know what? Doing stuff in the story does matter. Let me just get the seats here out of the way real quick. Let me just, yeah. Because no one else here is going to go down to that rank. I'm just, just not. I'm not, okay. I imagine a lot of you will agree with me. I don't like Rappa. I just don't. I understand it's the whole mimetic virus thing, whatever the heck. I don't like her. Sure, her story was pretty sad and all that business. Her personality is interesting, I guess. This is the main thing. I don't feel like her design fits in with Honkai Star Rail at all. It doesn't work. I don't feel like it works. Hey, Rappa fans, don't hate me, but I'm not hating on you. I just don't like your character. That's all it is, okay? If that's an attack upon you, it's really not, but I'm not a Rappa fan. I don't like her. Personality wise, like I said, she's fine. It's whatever. I just don't. Her story just was not that good. It just wasn't. And then you had to combine it with the fact that that's the whole banana stuff with the monkeys on the, I don't remember the freaking campus name anymore. Like the school time thing. I just didn't like that arc at all. I thought it was bad. I didn't like it. Call me crazy. It was not a good arc. I thought it was trash. And then I don't know. I don't like her. Maybe I'll pull her for gameplay purposes later, but like in terms of the character, I don't like her, bro. I don't know what else to say. Her story just wasn't good. It didn't resonate with me at all. I don't like her character. Personality's decent though. That's the one thing I'll give. I like her personality. Generally speaking, she's a nice person, and you know what? I do have to give her that. I probably would prefer to be alongside her as opposed to someone like, let me find someone like Mose or Jiaocho. So she has that. Speaking of favorites, bro. Let me just put the twins up there. Yeah. Robin, I mean, she had some pretty good writing. I think Sunday has better writing than she does, personally, but I like Robin more. I love how pure and sweet she is. I love that. Robin. She's probably, like... She is in the argument to be one of my top 5 girls in this game. I like her that much. Supposedly, we might be getting a free copy of her Orhofo in Anniversary, but y'all didn't hear that from me. All I'm saying is if that's true, I am going to pick her up, and I'm going to pick up her light cone so fast you guys won't even know what happened. I'm going to become the Flash to pick her up as fast as possible. You do not understand. Anyway, I love Robin so much. The whole 3.8 thing with her to experience the story through her was also pretty interesting. Sunday, I think, was better written than her, though. Him being the villain of Penacony was pretty interesting. I don't know if I agree with the whole 3.8 thing, though, where he was invulnerable to any and all damage, and we gotta weaken him. I don't know if I agree with that, but I thought 3.8 was pretty good overall, but Sunday's really good. I love Sunday. Now, especially now we're at Planarcadia, I am enjoying this guy as a character more and more. And I don't see that changing anytime soon because he was well written. Maybe I don't like the guy at first, but he's come around and he actually... You know what? I kind of enjoy him now. If he wanted to become a permanent nameless, I'd be okay with that. Like if he... I mean, we'll see how long he stays with us, right? Because Black Swan was only here for... Well, you know, until Amphoreus. So maybe Sunday won't be with us as long as maybe some of y'all would like. But if he did want to become a nameless, I'd welcome him. I did think he's turned around. Anywho, Firewife up here. Yeah. Firefly was probably the first example of a girl character in this game where I'm just like, yes, everything for you, baby. Anything you want, everything you want, you get it because you deserve it. I don't care what's happened to you in the past. I don't care how they treated you. I'm giving you everything because you deserve the freaking world. I love Firefly, if that wasn't obvious. I love Firefly. So, her story was pretty good. Not pretty good. Story was really good. I don't know if her story was quite as good as Adventurine's, but they're comparable. They are very comparable story-wise. They both have strong stories. The whole Iron Cavalry thing as well with the Knights was very sad. It kind of sucks now that you have 3.8 to put some of that stuff in perspective as well. Like, yeah, it's definitely sad. I'm telling y'all, if they freaking her, if they had her in 3.8, I would have been pissed. I don't know if I would have considered stopping playing. But I would have been so pissed off because it's like, dude, she's fighting so hard to stay alive. Yo, you can't do this to her, bruh. Yo, you just can't. If you do this to her, I'm never gonna forgive you. And I am okay with characters dying in games, right? Like if they have to die to make the story good, or you know, make the story more impactful, and they have to die as a result, that's fine. I can live with it. But when it's something like Firefly where her entire goal is to not die and she wants to stay alive so badly and you want to, if she died off, I would have been so mad. Because why would you do that to her? She deserves more. Anyway, I can talk about Firefly for a while. I love her. I'm going to E6 her eventually and S5 her, and y'all are just going to have to deal with that fact. And we're going to be running her into everything we possibly can. If she's washed, the game is washed, okay? If she ever gets to the point where it's been like a year or two and she's washed, this game needs to reevaluate it and buff her. That's the way I feel. Anywho, I feel like I've talked about Firefly for long enough. Fugue. Probably here. Can I? There. I think Fugue's a good A tier. I loved Ting Yun from the Zhou show. Again, one of my favorites from that arc. So, seeing her here was very interesting. Another thing I don't really understand, at least in Penacony specifically, She is called Fugue, right? But for some reason, we just called her Tingyun the entire time. Where did the Fugue name come from? Now she has it in Planarcadia, but I gotta wonder, where did the name Fugue come from? If some of you know where that came from in the story, or maybe what the name even means, I would love to know in the comments. Please do tell me. But I don't know where the name Fugue came from. It kind of feels like she just spawned in with it in Planarcadia, because they called her Tingyun the entire time during that story, and I was looking around for a lot of collectibles and stuff during that time frame, and I couldn't find anything about why her name was Fugue. So if y'all have more information about that, let me know. Let's talk about the servants last. Alright, so Dahlia, probably, I think I have her a little higher than Fugue. Yeah, probably. Dahlia, again, being a very interesting character. I don't know. It's the whole nihility mommy thing, bro. I'm tempted to put her up here, but I'm not going to, because her story was not quite as good as I would have hoped for. 3.8 was still a good story. There wasn't quite as much focus on Dahlia and maybe her backstory or some other stuff like that as I would have liked. I would have liked to get more of a view inside her and who she is, and we kind of didn't get that. I'm sure that was on purpose though, because she's supposed to be a mysterious character. Revealing too much kind of makes her less mysterious, obviously, right? So I'm sure that's part of it, but I kind of wanted to know more about her, and we just didn't really get that. Unless I missed it. Maybe I missed a little readable thing here, because I don't read all again. Maybe in time I'll do all the little readable pickup things that you can do, but as it stands right now, I didn't read absolutely everything, but we didn't get enough information told us about her, in my opinion. Now we have the servants. Ugh. This is so tough, man. Because, okay. This is the thing you'll understand with me and Fate. Every Fate character tends to be so well written. And this is generally speaking. There are some cases where Fate characters are not the best written characters. Generally speaking, Fate characters in Fate itself, like, they're like... Like, if I had to... Like, they literally get their own tier. That's how well written they are. Like, if we had to... This is assuming, like, you know, they're in... Like, they're part of Fate, and they're not in Star Rail. Like, let's assume they're part of Fate. Like, pretty much a lot of the servants are just straight up better written than any, like, Star Rail character, at least in Penacony. Sometimes Amphoreus. Again, this is a very case-by-case basis, but, like, the servants that get focus are generally just well written so much at the point where they're just straight up better written. No hate to Hoyo and their writers, but I think Nasu is just a better writer than them. Or the Fate writers in general, they tend to be better. Agree with me or disagree with me, I don't really care. That's just how it is with most of the... Like, okay, this is another thing. FGO has low lows, but its highs are so much higher than anything I've ever had in Star Rail. No hate to Star Rail, but it just doesn't have that sauce in it yet. I have yet to see that sauce that I've seen in some of the freaking Lost Belts for FGO. Lost Belts is, you think about it as like the part 2 chapters. That's the best way I could describe them for those of you that don't know. I have yet to see Star Rail hit a high like that. Anyway, this is not, unfortunately, these two are not in Fate right now. So that, you know what that means is that they are not gonna be that high. So if I had, okay, purely, like, let's just say character-wise, Saber and Archer, or otherwise called Artoria and Emiya. If we're rating them just as characters and not in Star Rail's context, they're going like here. I think I love them so much. They're awesome. I love them. But when I have to consider them in the context of Star Rail specifically, they gotta go down here. Like, okay, writing-wise, down here. If I have to allow favoritism, then maybe like A. Maybe like that. We might leave them like that. No, but the that. And if I could put Cucullin, otherwise called Lancer, in there, I would too, but he's not playable yet. I do hope they rerun this collab eventually so I can see more characters of Fate added into here. I would be down for that. If they want to do so, I'm down. But they're not that well. They're not well written in this game. It really hurts to see. It makes me wonder what the F they were doing. What the F were they doing when they were making this collab, like story? I'm not talking about the character in their kits. Their kits are awesome, we know. They're really fun, they're awesome, gameplay-wise. Story-wise, what the F were they doing, bro? What the F were they doing? I don't even know what to okay, I might make this a video later. And all my grievances with the Fate and Star Row collab. Awesome collab, don't get it twisted. Story freaking sucked though. It had such good potential too. I was really hoping that Nasu being a part of it, because it sounded like, okay, Nasu, for those of you who don't know, I feel like I should say this, he's the creator of the Fate series. He writes a lot of the stuff. My impression was that he was going to be present for this collab. And the story. Very clearly, that is not what happened. I don't know what happened. I had such high hopes for this collab too, like story-wise again. Character, kit-wise, I think they're awesome. I mean, obviously Saber should be a little bit stronger since she's the paid character and Archer's the free one, but that's neither here nor there right now. They should have been better. They should have been better written. They didn't really tell you about anyone that wasn't Saber either. Like, she had all the focus. I'm okay with Saber having most of the focus. She's like, you know, the focal point of Fate. She's like the character, right? She's the most popular Fate character, but that's on purpose. She's the mascot of the Fate series. How about that? Her getting that focus was fine, but they just, her writing just was not up to par, especially if you consider Fate standards. It sucked. It was not good. I'm not one to spew like grievances and annoyances and, you know, I hate this, I hate that. I did not like the story at all. It was not good. It's funny because when they set it up, the setup had really good potential payoff, but they just didn't do it. I think another thing is the first half of the collab was way better than the second half, because the second half, story-wise, they kind of nerfed the characters. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. They got really, like, if they had had their full power, Archer by himself, who is weaker than Saber, like Saber has a higher ceiling than Archer does. Even Lancer, any one of the three of them at regular power levels would have freaking destroyed anything in the Grail War. It wouldn't have even been close. I know it's the whole, oh, this is the home field advantage for the Penacony servants. I don't care, bro. If the Fate servants had their full powers, or even if Saber even had like 50 to 75% of her power, this story wouldn't have been a story. So, I mean, obviously, I think the enemy should have been stronger as a result. But, dude, they nerfed my girl and my boys. They nerfed them. They did. That, and that's not fun. I'm glad they're in the game, though, ultimately. I would have rather the collab happen than not happen. Because, you know what, at the end of the day, I do enjoy Star Rail now. It started this game's lifespan, it was kind of questionable, but now I am very much a Star Rail fan. Hopefully, I am praying that Planarcadia really just ends up being as amazing as it was intended to be story-wise. I really don't know because of all the delays and all that. So I'm keeping my expectations tempered for now, but I will have to judge it at the end of the version cycle. I will have to. Hopefully, it ends up well. And again, if you agree or disagree with anyone in this ranking, do let me know. I'm not even gonna bother like re-ranking anyone. I'm already this is very like, it's very easy for me to rank these characters because I mean, if I had to sort them, maybe I could do that, but I'm not gonna bother because it's like, it's the S tier, the A tier, the B tier pretty easily. If I did forget anyone, do let me know. And if you do agree or disagree, also let me know in the comments down below. But if you enjoyed today's video, maybe check the other one that probably showed up by now on your screen. And with that, I will have to leave you guys for today to see you tomorrow in another video. I will catch you guys in the next. Laters.